A very fresh good morning to all. I hope you have understood the topic which we have discussed in the previous video. Now, today we are going to start with the new topic, but before that, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel. And please go through all the videos on regular basis so that you will understand the concepts which your teachers are sharing with you. Now, as you know that yesterday we have started with the new chapter, that is chapter number 3, atoms and molecules. This chapter is all about atoms and how these atoms combine together to form molecules and compounds. Before starting with today's topic, let me give you an example. Suppose you want to prepare a chocolate cake for a family. Naturally, you need some ingredients like cocoa powder, milk, condensed milk, oil, sugar, essence, etc. And you always mix these ingredients in the same proportion so that you will be having a great taste and the quality of the cake will also be maintained. But if the number of persons will increase, then what will you do? Naturally, you will increase the amount of the ingredients accordingly. But why we are discussing the concept of making chocolate cake along with the concept of atom? The reason is it will help us to understand some laws which is related to atoms and help us to understand the next topic, that is laws of chemical combination. Yes, these are the laws which help us to understand that how these atoms combine together to form different kinds of compounds. These laws are also known as experimental laws, which are formulated by scientists after having different experiments which involved various types of chemical reactions. Even these experimental laws led us to the idea that atoms are of very small size and they are considered as the smallest unit of matter. So, in today's topic, we will be discussing our first law of chemical combination. And the first law is also known as the law of conservation of mass. As we know that the substances which combine together in a chemical reaction are known as reactants. On the other hand, the new substances which are produced or formed as a result of this chemical reaction are known as products. So, the law of conservation of mass is about the mass of the reactants and the products. According to this law, the total mass of the reactant is always equals to the mass of the products. It means in a particular chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactants is always equal to the total mass of the products formed. There is no change in the mass during the chemical reaction. In simple language, we can say that the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in any chemical reaction. The total mass remains conserved during a chemical reaction. Let's understand with the help of an example. Here, as you can see, the 32 gram of sulfur is reacting with 56 grams of iron. And when they react with each other, they form 88 grams of iron sulfide. So here we can say that the total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products. And there is no change of mass during this chemical reaction. Let's understand it better through upcoming video.
If we plan to make chocolate milk for our family, then we will add ingredients like milk, sugar and chocolate in a proportionate amount, right? Now what if we have guests at home? We will simply have to double or triple the amount of individual ingredients. Simple, isn't it? It means that for a particular recipe, the proportion of inputs will almost always remain the same. Why are we discussing this along with the concept of atoms? That's because it will help us understand a few important laws related to atoms. The introduction to the concept of atoms was a major breakthrough in the field of chemistry. However, proving the existence of atoms needed many experimental evidences. The hypothesis that matter is formed out of atoms needed experimental evidences. Soon a French chemist called Antoine Lavoisier carried out several experiments to finalize some strong and valid concepts. After remarkable observations and ideologies, we could get the two major laws of chemical combinations. The two laws are law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportions. Let us understand each law in detail. Let's take a simple example. Just imagine we carry out an experiment in which element A and element B react together to give us a compound C. If we keenly observe, we find that atoms of elements A and B do not exist individually in the reaction mixture. They come together to give us the new compound C. Although it seems that atoms of elements A and B are degenerating, it's not the case. In reality, they are combining to give us the compound C. Antoine Lavoisier put forth the law of conservation of mass, and do you know what it tells us? It states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. He explained this law by saying that matter is formed from the pre-existing matter, and the mass of the newly formed matter will be the same as that of the pre-existing matter. We can neither create new matter nor destroy the existing matter. So the chocolate milk that we made in the beginning came from the milk, sugar and chocolate mixed together. Similarly, we could see that compound C is formed only when atoms of elements A and B combine together. So new substances are formed only when pre-existing ones combine in nature. New things cannot be made from nothing. The input for any matter that's formed is always the matter that already exists.
Now, I hope you have understood why I have given the example of the preparation of chocolate cake. Yes, the ingredients which we have taken in a definite or the same ratio to prepare a particular amount of cake can never be changed. So, according to this law, we can say that during the chemical reaction, the atoms cannot be created nor be destroyed. In fact, atoms rearrange themselves and forming a new substance. Let us understand the law in a better way by taking the example of two chemicals, that is barium chloride and sodium sulfate. Have a look on the video.
The law of conservation of mass. We require measuring cylinders, barium chloride solution, sodium sulfate solution, conical flask, cork, 10 ml test tube, and an electronic balance. Measure 5 ml of sodium sulfate solution in a measuring cylinder. Pour it into a conical flask. Measure 5 ml of barium chloride solution in another measuring cylinder. Pour it into a 10 ml test tube. Tie the test tube using a thread and hang the test tube in a conical flask carefully so that the solutions do not mix with each other. Cork the conical flask so that the thread holding the test tube is firmly held in place. Take the conical flask and carefully weigh the flask on an electronic balance with all the contents, ensuring that the solutions do not mix, and note the reading. Take the flask from the balance, tilt it and swirl the flask so that barium chloride solution in the test tube spills and mixes with sodium sulfate solution in the flask and forms a white-colored precipitate of barium sulfate BaSO4 and an aqueous solution of sodium chloride NaCl. Wait for 10 minutes to complete the reaction. The precipitate of barium sulfate settles down to the bottom of the flask. Weigh the contents of the flask again and note down the reading. It will be observed that the total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products. Hence, the law of conservation of mass is verified.
I think the topic of today is clear to everybody, that is law of conservation of mass. On the basis of today's topic, now it's a time for assignment. I have given you 2 questions to do in the fair notebook. Now you have to start with the chapter number 3, atoms and molecules, in the notebook, and you have to do these 2 questions. And if you have any doubt, you can leave your comment in comment box, or you can ask your query during online session. Thank you and have a nice day.